I really should fix this downspout now that the rains are coming. Alright guys, it's not even the middle of September yet, but it feels like fall has kicked in. So in today's video, I'm going to take the two premium south-facing beds beside the greenhouse here. I'm going to gut them, no-till style, and then lasagna garden them into their fall crops. So let's check out the state of the beds. So on the surface, it's not looking pretty. So these were two 6x2 beds. And so this guy here had cantaloupes and peppers, which I will harvest. It had a sunfire plant that I really needed, so I'm going to harvest a few of these for seeds for next year because we are low on the starfire variety. So that's good. I'll do it all in the video. And then the bed beside it had more peppers and a few watermelon volunteers, which I think I got all of them, but I didn't see this guy in the corner. Oh, there's a little lizard there. Oh, he must be cold. Come on out. Come on out. There you go. Come on. You have to actually get out of the bed. Come on. Up, up, up. There you go. Okay. And so, you know, it looks like a disaster. But these beds are going to be relatively easy. You know, it's just a matter of getting the fruit off them that we want, getting the starfire tomato that we want, and then cutting these down no-till style. You know, we won't disturb the soil at all. And then top layer of compost, and then we'll reseed it. We are going to do another leafy green lettuce, and then because that Escalade spinach is proving to be a winner, I think I'm going to do one of those beds in spinach. We might be able to get 3 rows in here. Just you know, these beds are really sheltered. You know, even if we do get heavy frosts, which we won't get until December, that's another 2.5 months from now. These beds are so sheltered that, you know, even if it's not a frost-tolerant variety, I can still grow it in here. So, anyway, let's get this one started. Okay, so first things first here. We got to do this in order, otherwise we forget. Let's get the starfire seeds for saving for next year, so that we don't accidentally either throw out these tomatoes or process them or do something else with them. So I'm just going to collect 2 or 3 of the big ones. You want the primo looking one. That's a good one there. That's a good one there. Let's see if we can find another one. There's lots to choose from. That's kind of a perfect looking one. Maybe we'll save that for eating. There we go. This one's been chewed up a bit. Okay. So, I've already done a tomato seed saving video, which I'll post a link down below. But what you need is your labeled bucket, because we do have quite a few heirlooms here. We do not want to get them mixed up. And so, just going to do this on site. Poke a hole in it. And squeeze out as many seeds as you can. Okay. This part is easy. Just you want to get as little of the meat of the tomato as possible and as much of the actual seeds, obviously, right? So this starfire, very Roma-like. It doesn't have very much juice. It also doesn't have very much in the way of seeds. You know, a tomato this size should yield you 1,000 seeds or more. These guys, you maybe get 100 off of a plant this size. So I might have to do, I always make a hole in the tomato so you can direct where the seeds come out. Because if not, you go to squeeze it, it will just pop everywhere. There's some good ones. This one's not bad. Sometimes you'll get pockets of it within the tomato that's got, you know, 200 or 300 seeds in it. That's like a gold mine with these guys. They're very low on the seed front. Okay. Just gonna quickly do a couple more here. Not getting as many seeds as we want, so let's take out that real good one. It's too bad. I was looking forward to eating that one tonight. Okay. Yeah, that was hardly worth it. I only had 50 seeds. You know? Great thing about Starfire, though, is that it's almost 100% germination rate. Yeah, these guys are pretty phenomenal that way. Okay, last one. Last one, then this is enough seeds. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this with tap water, and then we can get started on the rest of the beds. All right, so we've harvested enough of the heirloom Starfire tomato seeds. Now what we want to do is collect all the usable fruit in this bed so we can get ready to gut it. Okay, so we got a pretty substantial bounty of tomatoes and peppers. We can go ahead and wash these and put them on the windowsill inside, especially the green ones, to further ripen. But now that bed is ready to be demoed in preparation for the seeding. One bed down. Less than 4 minutes. All right, so we got the beds done. Both of them combined less than 10 minutes. So now let's use the power of lasagna gardening. Get that layer of newspaper on, and then get that layer of top compost on. So the great thing about it pouring with rain is that we don't need to water the newspaper down to hold it in place. So the reason why we put this newspaper down in lasagna gardening is to suppress any weeds that might come up. You know, I do it not so much to separate the different organic layers. You know, for my soil profile, you know, I like it to be a homogeneous mixture, but to suppress the next generation of weeds to come up, to let your vegetable plants really take over and be the dominant vegetation in the bed, you got to put this layer of newspaper or cardboard down. Think of it as a subterranean mulch. All right, super easy stuff in the rain. You know, it just sits on there and the rain holds it down. You don't have to worry about watering it, having it blow away, rearrange them. This is one of the tasks that I really like doing when it's pouring rain out. So now that they're prepped, you know, obviously that only took maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. Let's get that top layer of compost on so that we can start seeding our lettuce and our spinach. So even though it is raining quite heavily, I am going to go ahead and water these beds before I seed them, simply because the compost is a bit on the dry side, and no matter how much it rains, It will take way too long to get it to the right moisture level for these seeds to germinate properly. And also, when I do this watering for a new seeding bed, I use either water from my fish pond, or I'll use a compost tea or a worm tea. That way I am inoculating this bed with hundreds of billions of beneficial bacteria and microbes and all that good stuff that comes from your compost. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So now that the beds are prepped with the top layer of compost, let's go ahead and seed them out. So for the lettuce, I'm going to do 2 rows, but for the spinach, because it has a different growth pattern and it does stay a little more compact, I'm going to actually do 3 rows of spinach. Piece of cake. Both beds probably took under a minute to direct seed. So now that that's done, let's cover the seeds with a top layer of my DIY potting mix. So that potting mixture goes on top of those seeds for several reasons. One, it's obvious you can't leave seeds just sitting high and dry on the top of the soil. Traditionally a farmer would dig trenches, put the seeds in those trenches and then cover it back up. Obviously we are doing lasagna gardening and no-till farming here, so we're not disturbing the soil down below. It is brand new compost. Obviously, if I dug a trench, it wouldn't have that big a deal because I just put that soil in. But honestly, as soon as the soils go into my beds, I do no-till farming. That's it's just a mentality I have. So the other reason for putting the DIY potting mix instead of the compost is that it's a different consistency. So it can let me know where my seeded rows are. And that's important because if I wanted to mulch, if I wanted to put maybe transplanted plants in between the rows, and if I wanted to water, it lets me know where those plants are going to come up before they come up. And another reason for using this potting mix is that it is very, very good at holding moisture, because of the coconut fiber or the peat moss. And so just like I use it for all of my seedling trays and my transplants, there's a reason, baby plants grow best in this type of a mixture, in a light, fluffy mixture that can really hold in the moisture. It's a little bit acidic. That's just what seedlings grow best in. So even though these aren't in pots, there's no reason that it can't have a potting mix. So there you go. 2 6x2 beds, 24 square feet of raised garden space, completely gutted of old plants and reseeded in no time flat. So it took us 10 minutes total for both beds to get rid of all the old plants and fruit. It took us maybe 6 minutes to lay down all the newspaper, probably 4 minutes. It took us another 8 minutes to get all the compost and smooth it all out. 2 more minutes to water it, maybe a minute to actually seed the beds, and then another 3 to 4 minutes to add the top layer of potting mix. So that's it for today, guys. I've got about 15, 16, 18 more beds to do. I got to get cracking. It's going to be a long, wet day. As always, leave any questions or comments down below. Have you subscribed to this no-till farming, to this lasagna gardening method? If you have, share any tips or secrets you got. If you haven't, why not? It is easier and yields you better results. I can't think of a reason not to do it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. For those of you that have, I really do appreciate the support, and I'll see you next time.